Well, he was definitely in the top 20.
But
Definitely,
he was
100%.
in the nominations for it.
Yeah, he was
That's
in.
what I'm saying. I feel like
he made
people forget how good he
Top
is.
50.
Yeah,
No,
60.
definitely.
Yo guys, welcome back to another TFW video. And as you can tell by the title, guys, it's January transfer window season. So we are going to be going through each club in the top 6 and we're going to be saying which player each club should sign. So of course, we are going to start with the standard big 6, which is Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Man City, Liverpool and Tottenham. And at the end, if we have time, we're also going to include Aston Villa, who are currently 3rd place right now, and West Ham are also 5th. But without further ado, let's start. So,
What club are we starting with?
I'm going to go alphabetically. I'm going to start with Arsenal.
Of course, it was
So-
the Arsenal.
Right. Should we start with Liverpool? I don't know. What's going on here? All right, Arsenal. Obviously, because I'm an Arsenal fan, I will go last. So, Max, who is one player that Arsenal should sign in January?
Max, yeah?
Yeah.
I
know you're looking at
said,
you.
you're looking at him asking me, bro, does he know his
I'm not
boys?
Max.
I'm just playing games. Sorry.
Nah, I said a forward or a midfielder, and the forward in question I'm saying that you guys should definitely try and get is obviously the guy that's catting for you guys, Ivan Toney. You know
I
what I
say
mean?
the same thing.
I think with Ivan Toney, to be fair, starting with Gabriel Jesus, he's not the player that's going to get you 20 goals a season. Let's
No,
be
he's
real.
not.
He's
He's
not.
not.
But I think Ivan Toney, he's proven at Brentford that he can score goals regardless. Do you know what I mean? If he's now in a better Arsenal team with people like Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, Martinelli assisting him, he's going to get the goals for you. And I feel like he's catting for you lot. It's a no-brainer, really and truly. But I think to go away from that, because you said you were going to say it as well,
Yeah.
I would also say maybe look into what you guys, what Arteta likes in terms of midfield. Maybe look at Douglas Luiz. You know what I mean? To just boost on your midfield. You guys already got mad depth. I can't even cap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's one of them ones. If you get Douglas Luiz in, you're kind of stacked in that midfield department. You're stacked
Pretty
in
much,
the forward
yeah.
line. So you can't really go wrong with that. What are you saying?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I think what you need is someone that can score you goals, and Ivan Toney, I think, can definitely do it. Who are you going to say?
Talking
as an
about
Arsenal
hat-trick,
fan?
all three of us got Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
There you are.
But to be fair, I was also stuck between a striker and a defender. So
Okay.
thing is, I put Ivan Toney because, yeah, potentially when he comes back, but also I don't think Arsenal are going to sign an attacker in January. I think we're going to leave that till summer where we can actually spend big on Ivan Toney or maybe Osimhen or
Okay.
whoever else. Huh?
Hmm?
Anyways, the defender I said that we should get him last summer instead of Zinchenko. Obviously, he transferred to another club and he's still doing bits, but I feel like we can still get him.
Get who?
Grimaldo.
Oh, okay.
Grimaldo for Leverkusen. See, now, I've been a big fan of Grimaldo for ages, since he was in the Barcelona academy. The guy, he has everything. And he fits into the perfect mold that both Arteta and Pep like in terms of the inverted fullback. On the ball, the guy he's basically a winger on the ball.
What's wrong with Zinchenko in your team? Well, I've seen a lot of people doing revisionism like Zinchenko needs to go. I don't
Look,
like it.
so-
You guys were like
It's just not a fullback.
Do you know what it is? My problem is, yeah, and do you know what it is? I think, I'm not trying to be reactionary, but I think my problem with Zinchenko is, and I've said this for a while, even when he was playing well, like he was having good games, especially when he comes in again, I think it's usually against teams that like your Evertons, you know, your Fulhams, whatnot, where the system that we play with the inverted fullbacks really favours us. But I'm still saying defensively, he's not quite there yet. I'm not asking him to be like Van Dijk or a crazy defender. It's just like have at least good defending common sense. Do you know what I mean?
Remember weeks and weeks ago, one of the first episodes in the TFW, we talked about Luke Shaw, we talked about Zinchenko. Wasn't that what we were saying?
Yeah,
Can we get that on the screen?
And what did
Can
I
we-
say? What
can
did I
we get
say?
that?
I said defensively, yeah, Luke Shaw is better.
But
than
you were still saying that you would
I was-
rather have Zinchenko in your team for what he does on the ball, but now you're saying
Exactly.
you don't want him in your team.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because last season, it didn't seem to cost us as much in terms of his defensive, what he lacks defensively, because it wasn't apparent as much. Now it's
We saw it.
Now it's becoming a bit more apparent. I'm saying Grimaldo because yes, he does exceed. Like obviously, I think he's got about 10 goals and 6 assists or whatever.
damn.
I know that Leverkusen play a back 5, so he's playing more of a wing back role. But it's still sort of the same. Defensively, his stats are very good as well. And from what I've seen, even when he was at Benfica, defensively, he knows what he's doing
Yeah,
defensively.
he's a good
I
defender.
mean, it goes to show, like, attack wins you games, defense wins you leagues. You bottled the league because your defense weren't good enough. Ultimately, you did. He's
Very
shipped
true.
goals.
No, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Because
So-
when Saliba got injured, we didn't have a good enough defender
what it is.
Anyways, enough away from us. Chelsea are next.
Chelsea.
And Raf, I'll let you start.
Yeah, for Chelsea, I also went with a striker once again, and I went with Victor Osimhen. He's a player that I would love to see at United, but I think he would either go to Chelsea or United because those are the two clubs that he followed growing up. I think more United. John Obi Mikel said in a podcast I watched recently.
did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
he did. He said he favours Man United over Chelsea. But I think with
He's not happy, yeah,
but with the money that
We
Chelsea
did
have and the fact that we just spent a lot of money on a young striker, I think he's more likely to go to Chelsea. And I think he will make them so much better. I think Nicholas Jackson is someone that we shouldn't write off yet because of his age. He's only, I think, is it 21 or 22?
Allegedly.
But allegedly. But hey, Osimhen is also 21 or 22 allegedly as well. So, but anyway, I think Victor Osimhen is someone that will fit straight into the Premier League, and he is the sort of striker that Chelsea have been crying out for actually quite a few years now.
100%.
Yeah, what about
I
you
agree,
two?
yeah.
I said maybe like try and fork up the piece, just test the waters with Leao at AC Milan. I feel like with Chelsea, similar to what you said in terms of they need people who's going to put the ball in the back of the net. At the moment, they've got good players, not maybe great players, and I feel like Leao might be good. Test the waters. Another one that's outside of the bracket, I think that, listen, he's not playing as much right now, but he could do something when he goes back to London. Jadon Sancho. He's there, he's available. It doesn't seem like
To be fair.
Ten Hag wants him in the team. He's
not that
available.
bad.
In January, why not Chelsea? You know, you want to come back to London, you want to start playing football, revitalize your career, Chelsea might be the place for that.
I hear that. Weirdly enough, I said no one. I said I don't think Chelsea should sign anyone. The reason I say this is because for the longest period of time, they've been waiting for Nkunku to come back. And from that game, I think it was against Palace, where I was seeing Nkunku link up with Mudryk, link up with Gusto. I think he's going to be very, very crucial in that attack. I feel like they might play him up front, and then obviously Cole Palmer suspended. But a front three or even front four, I could even say, Mudryk on the left, Cole Palmer in the middle, Nkunku up top, almost doing like a false nine type of role, and then on the right, Sterling. I feel like that could be, that could push them up the table. I'm not going to say that'll make them title contenders or battle in the top 2, top 3, but I feel like that can get them definitely back into European football and definitely in a better position to then build. And also, I feel like now is where Poch should sort of be like, okay, cool. These are my main 16 to 20 guys that I really want to work with. Others, we can streamline, save a few. I'm hearing that they want to sell Conor Gallagher for some reason. He's playing. He's their captain right now. But do you know what I mean? Streamline the squad and really get who he wants in, and wait for business in the summer. Because let's be real, if he does that, if Chelsea manage to get themselves into Europa League, then they potentially can lure someone like Victor Osimhen and be like, look, we know we're in Europa, win us Europa, you'll be back in Champions League. We're getting you to be our focal point, and yada 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 yada. Next team we're going on to is Liverpool. So I'm going to start this one. One player that I was looking at for Liverpool was Ezekiel Palacios.
Okay.
This is a midfielder from Leverkusen. Argentinian as well. He's about 25 years old. And the reason why I chose him was because he's a very good tackler. And I feel like Liverpool, they need, like, obviously they have Szoboszlai, they have, Thiago's on the books, but he's not playing. They have Szoboszlai, they have McAllister, they have Endo, who they signed as a bit of a stopgap because it's like, we need a CDM, let's just get anyone. Palacios, I feel like he's still quite young, with at the age of 25. And the way the Leverkusen team is playing, I know he's not playing every single game. He's playing most games. He's not playing every single game, but he's playing most games. But for what I've seen from him, he can be that anchor in midfield and really just sort of stabilize the team defensively.
Yeah.
I feel like his best attributes are his tackling and his short passing. He does draw a lot of fouls because he does like to dribble and get forward a little bit, but he's not the type of midfielder that will get forward in the sense like McAllister is, where he'll get forward and really want to be part of the attack. I feel like Palacios is just one of those players who can carry the ball and also win you guys a couple games by being that number 6 that just holds it down. Who would you guys say?
Yeah, I agree that they need an anchor in midfield, and I think the player that they're missing a lot from last season and from previous seasons is Fabinho, and that's why I think similar. I think they should get Paulinho from Fulham, and yes, he hasn't reached the heights that someone like Fabinho has reached, but he is Premier League proven in a way, in the sense of he went a whole season last year, played pretty well, and it attracted interest, and very nearly signed for Bayern Munich on the last day of the window. So I think that, to me, it should be a bit of a no-brainer for Liverpool. I don't think he's the greatest DM in the world. I think he's a bit rash at times. He has mistakes in him. But I think if you want to go for someone that has played in the Premier League for a season and a half now, then that's your man.
Literally it's similar. We all said midfielders. I also said Paulinho, but I also said when you see Liverpool play, they often, when they need a goal, they often don't have as much creativity in the field. So what they do is they take off midfielder, put Trent into midfield, and maybe gives them, yes, a little bit up, but it lacks them in the defensive areas. You kind of want him to stay there and have an additional person. So I was going to say maybe you get Ramsey from Aston Villa that can create, that can also hold, do you know what I mean, and do a little bit of the job. I also said someone that's going to Bayern Leverkusen. I don't think Liverpool would sign him because he's not doing great now. He's not even playing games. But Donny van de Beek can actually, you man are laughing. You weren't laughing. Listen, when he goes Leverkusen,
Leverkusen I think will be good for him because he will have the freedom.
Donny is a good player. Donny's a good player, man. He was was it how many years ago? He was like top 5 in the Ballon d'Or list, bro. When he was playing for
5.
Yeah, I think it was top 5.
I think Frankie might have been 5th.
Yeah,
I don't think.
It was Frankie
one of
Dion.
the
Am I thinking of Frankie?
Yeah.
He was definitely in the top 20.
But
Definitely,
he was
100%.
in the nominations for it.
Yeah, he was
That's
in.
what I'm saying. I feel like
he made
people forget how good he is.
Top 50.
Yeah,
No,
60.
Definitely.
Yeah,
No, but I still feel like, I feel like Liverpool lack the creativity that they once had beforehand. And I feel like they're still scoring goals, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like if they have an additional person in midfield that can do both the anchoring job and both the creative job when players such as McAllister's not doing as much, Endo's not doing as much, and so on and so forth, they have another player to play there, it'll be good for them.
Fairs. I think the creativity that they're lacking is from that Firmino that drops in. But I get what you're saying. But moving on alphabetically, Man City. Now, Man City is always a tricky one because it's like they have so many players, so many good players as well. So I've kind of stuck with what they've done recently in the sense where they signed a lot of young players. They signed Doku, they signed Gvardiol. So I said Ousmane Diomande from Sporting.
Okay.
He's 20 years old, and already last season there was a bit of noise about him.
Isn't he?
Yeah, centre half. I would have said this for United, but I chose someone I think is better than Diomande.
He's rapid.
For
a centre back,
and
he's
strong.
rapid. Yeah.
And the thing is, one thing I do like is the fact that when it comes to defenders, you can pretty much rely on the Portuguese league because, especially like, I don't want to say especially when it comes from like the Benfica or Sporting or whatever, because those are the best teams there. But I don't know what it is about the Portuguese league, but they breed very, very good defenders. Obviously, there's a occasional anomaly. Do you know what I mean? But defensively, they know what they're doing. And Diomande, like I said, he's 20. You've got Diaz in there already, who I think is apparently 24. I think you have John Stones, who's kind of injury prone. Obviously, Ake is a centre half, but he plays on left back. And then they have another centre half. I can't remember who. I'm pretty sure they have another one, but if not, that's
Akanji.
Thank you, Akanji. Yeah. So Diomande, I'm not thinking that he's going to come into the team straight away. I feel like this is a signing more for like 2 years down the line when they potentially do want to move away from Akanji, or they start shifting players around. I'm pretty sure that's why they got Gvardiol as well, because he can play centre half and left back. But for Diomande, strictly centre half. He's very good now. Under Pep, the guy can be crazy.
Yeah. I do like him. I see him more of a right centre back, but even still, anyway, I think he's someone that can fit into that Man City team very well. I was stuck with who to pick for Man City, really, because they have such a good squad, and I saw the list of players that they have out for the next few games. But even still, I look at their team and I just think this team is still a very, very good team. Yeah. I think they are the sort of team right now that can go and pick any player that they want to sign and they will pretty much get them.
Pretty much.
And I think if they want to bolster in one area, you look at, okay, cool, when these injuries happen, so for example, Haaland gets injured, they have Alvarez, and that's okay. The problem to me is when Rodri gets injured, they don't have anyone that's good enough. Calvin Phillips hasn't worked out at City, and he's most likely going to leave. And I think City should look at someone like Joshua Kimmich. And I think the difficulties would be...
Man. That would be a joke.
Overkill, but maybe they can do the treble again. I don't know.
That would be a joke.
The thing with Kimmich is, the problem would be when Rodri and Kimmich are fit, How does he fit in? Does he go into that sort of right back inverted
Nah.
fullback role, or does he play alongside? That's the difficulties. But my thing is, when Rodri is injured, City lack a bit of strength and experience, and I think Kimmich is someone that can come into that side and bolster them.
I think that's the ultimate team signing. I don't think that's realistic.
They can sign whoever they want.
No, I get it, but I feel like certain players will never leave their club.
It's a joke. It's a joke when you think about Man City, which is why I went similar with Chelsea. What you said with Chelsea in terms of not really signing anyone because they don't really need anyone. Like as you said, when Haaland's injured, they've got Alvarez, which is a good backup. When their wingers are injured, they've got backups. You know what I mean? Over the team, they've got backups. But you guys did make good points in terms of centre back injuries, and then when Rodri's not there, I was just thinking. As a United fan, when I used to look at Man City, I used to be scared of their wingers when they had Mahrez and especially when they had Sane. Now Sane's at Bayern. And I'm thinking, who's someone that they could threat again from their wings? Because when I look at their wingers, I'm not afraid as much. Do you know what I mean? I'm afraid of their striker, if they get the ball to the striker. But as their wingers, like, Doku is the first person that maybe, but Grealish, Foden, Bernardo Silva, I'm not scared that they're going to beat my fullback. I'm scared they're going to get the ball in. So if they sign someone like Gnabry that's not playing as many games at Bayern Munich, because Sane's playing, because Harry Kane's playing, I mean, Gnabry's not getting as many opportunities to play. So maybe if they sign Gnabry, who I don't think would shy away from coming back to the Premier League and proving himself there.
The only problem, and the thing is, I had very similar thinking because the other position I was going to say was also right winger. But I think Gnabry, he wants first team football. He doesn't want that questioned at all. So I don't think.
But he's not even playing first team football.
Exactly. So I do. I was going to say Eden Zagrova from Lille. Very, very good dribbler. I think he's about 23. Kosovan, I believe that's where he's from. But yeah, very, very good, very, very promising. And I feel like he wouldn't mind playing sort of like the understudy role for a year and a half whilst he really learn. Because for Pep, usually he signs a player, it's the next season where they're really playing. So I don't think he'd really mind that. But yeah, some interesting choices. For United, I'll let the United boys
What
take
position do we need every...
Remember, can I choose one?
I went for... the obvious choice, which would be
Is it realistic, first of all?
Ivan Toney. I want another striker. You made a very good point outside of the studio, in the studio, in terms of maybe Haaland not being ready and we need a proven striker to get us goals. I am understanding where you're going with, and I do still feel like Ivan Toney can give us that. However, I do look at like the likes of Jared Bowen at West Ham. I think he just signed a contract though at West Ham last season. But again, he would be great on our right wing. I think he's better than Anthony. I think he's better than Ahmed at the moment. I feel like he would be a great addition to put on our right wing straight away. So, I mean, there's so many positions. I could say, I said, what's it called? I said Ivan Toney, I said Bowen. Morgan Gibbs-White as a replacement for Bruno when he's not playing. He's a very good player. Do you know what I mean? When Bruno, sometimes we do need Bruno to maybe sit out a couple of games.
So we got Mason Mount.
Is he playing?
Yeah, because he's injured. But the issue is Bruno's not being...
but even still, that's on Ten Hag. But I still think that even if he took out Bruno, I don't think he'll play Mason Mount there. I think he'll play Eriksen there. I don't know why he makes it seem like Mount is an 8. You know, I haven't even seen him play on the wing where he played for Chelsea and he was quite effective on the right wing. But yeah, go on. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we actually need a centre back. I think a lot of our issues this season have come because the patterns in our build-up play is not quite there, and I think we need another left-footed centre back. We always are quite strong with right-footed centre backs, and right now we have Varane, we have Maguire, and in that left centre back role we do have Martinez, who I think is one of the best centre backs in the world. But I think with him not being there and then not having another left centre back to replace him has been a big issue for Man United this season. And for that reason, I think we should get Inacio, who plays for Sporting, so Portuguese centre back.
Yeah, he's good.
I just think we need to make sure that we're not just signing, filling the gap signers like Johnny Evans, who's done well so far, but we need to sign, I think Inacio was about 23 or 22, but young players, what was that?
22.
Yeah, young players, young left-footed centre-back, Inacio, I think is one of the best at the moment.
Yeah, do you know what?
I feel like we've just been unlucky with those type of positions, though.
One thing is that good left centre halves, and even just left centre halves in general, are quite rare to come by.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Inacio, I was gonna say him, but I kind of want Arsenal to get him, so that's why I didn't put him on there. But I did go for a centre half. I did go for a young centre half. I went for Antonio Silva at Benfica.
Yeah, as well.
Very, very solid. Like if you ask anyone who either follows Portuguese footballers internationally or just the Portuguese league, he is the next gem. And this is what I said that United should do back, I think, a couple of weeks ago when we did the buy two, sell one. I said United need to change their strategy and you guys need to buy for the future because you guys are used to buying these ready-made guys who, oh yeah, I know him, I used to work with him. Or, oh yeah, he's just a big name. Do you know what I mean? Like when you put in Schweinsteiger, kind of made no sense.
Wait a
but...
minute, you don't need to attack us too much.
No. Sorry.
Fair point.
Just went to default for a second. But yeah, no, Antonio Silva, very, very good. Like I said, he's 20 and I think he suits Ten Hag's style of play. You guys like to play out from the back, or you try to with Onana, letting the centre half split and then pushing your fullbacks up as well. I feel like, especially when Lisandro Martinez comes back from injury, Antonio Silva, someone that can learn from both him, from the side of, okay, this is how we play out from the back, these are the best positions and how you want to shape your body, all that sort of stuff. He can learn from Varane. He's won it all. He's literally won it all. Doesn't matter what you say about him, he's been in those teams. He's learned from the likes of Pepe, from Ramos. When you look internationally, he's got so much talent around him that all that experience can be passed down to Antonio Silva. And then it can be a thing when maybe not next season, but maybe the season after when Varane's not there, Antonio Silva is him. And then that will be your defense sorted pretty much. Like one position of your centre half sorted for at least the next 4 or 5 years until either he stays or gets snipped up by Madrid or whatever.
Yeah.
So then lastly, out of the big top 6, we're on to Tottenham. I just said the obvious choice that they're linked with right now, Todibo.
Yeah, same here.
Did you say Todibo as well?
Yeah.
I just think he's a good centre half. And Tottenham don't have another centre. I mean, they have Eric Dyer, but Eric Dyer's not playing. And just made it clear he'd rather play 4 fullbacks in defence than start Eric Dyer. So I feel like you need to start with centre halves and go with Todibo.
I think centre half is the obvious one, but do you guys feel like they might need an extra midfielder in there to assist their forwards? Because when you take Maddison out, calamity.
It's true, but when I look at what they are really crying for right now, I think their priority lies more with a centre. I think they need to strengthen a lot of positions. I still think they need to strengthen the striker position. I still think they can do with another winger and midfielder, as you said. But I think right now their priority has to be signing a centre back. With the injury record of the centre backs they have and the red cards as well, they need a centre back.
I think they should also. I think they should also look into, because they can move. You can always move Son up to the left wing to stop Arsenal from being the great team that they can be soon. Get in that Ivan Toney, get him there, fork out the piece, find him, put in your striker position.
Ivan Toney's
I mean, realistically, if Ivan Toney has the choice, he's not going to choose.
I mean, you can always inquire.
But to be fair, I was going to potentially say Giovanni Reina. Obviously, I know he had an injury at Dortmund, and now he's not really playing as much. His name, he's not really been as talked about from when he was about 18 or 19. But I feel like there's still a player there, and I feel like Tottenham could potentially take that gamble. But the obvious one is Todibo, 100%. But just quickly before we wrap up, obviously we probably won't go into this as much. But for Aston Villa, I said Danilo Pereira from PSG, a good CDM. He's got experience playing. He's just someone who can come in for Kamara. Obviously, Kamara is suspended right now. And I think from watching that United game, they were really missing that rock in midfield. And then I also said, if not Danilo Pereira, Conor Gallagher from Chelsea, I feel like he would be very good. I feel like his style of play matches Emery's in a sense where that high tempo attacking football, he can, do you know what I mean? He can take that brunt of the work in midfield alongside McGinn, let those three sit, or alongside Tielemans, that sort of player. Who do you guys say for Aston Villa?
I said for Aston Villa, again, probably won't happen, but players such as like on the fringe players, especially at the top 6 clubs. So for us, maybe like look at someone like Amad Diallo, get him games, get him firing. You know what I mean? Certain players that can just, because we said earlier on a different video in terms of Aston Villa having more games coming up and Emery having to play Conference League and stuff like that. So games are going to come thick and fast. So to have players that can come in and still kind of do the business and, get, like, you know what I mean, create a club mentality that, listen, let's get together and let's do something this season. Fringe players can buy into that. Players that aren't really playing first team football, but can come in and you might play this week, you might not play next week, but you're playing games rather than, I'm not going to play for a couple months. I might come in for one game, one Carabao Cup. You rather come in for here and there in the Premier League and the Conference League.
Makes sense.
For Aston Villa, I mean, it's looking increasingly likely that Douglas Luiz will leave. I mean, it's possible that he will join Arsenal, but I reckon that a replacement for them could be a different, slightly different style of player, but Dani Ceballos from Real Madrid, who is not favoured at the moment by Carlo Ancelotti, hasn't really been playing much, but I think he has the quality to play for Villa. And another player that they could sign, who I think West Ham should actually sign, is Calvin Phillips on the fringe at City.
That's what I was
True.
gonna say.
Yeah.
What are you going to say,
Calvin Phillips from Man City straight to West Ham. It's a no-brainer for me. I mean, he's not playing games at City. He doesn't seem like he's loved at City. West Ham does need someone other than Souček to hold that midfield. And to just play games. I feel like West Ham are a very good team, and I think it's a good move for Calvin Phillips to go there when you're going to play games, when you're playing on a good manager, in a good reign of form for the whole club. Go and revitalize your career there. Also, someone that doesn't play at the moment, Jesse Lingard. He was good. Hold on, wait. Let me land. He's not playing at the moment. He has no club, but when he was at West Ham, he did do very well. Having players such as that just want to play football at your club can really do well for you. Do you know what I mean? So there.
Yeah. Well, that has been who we think that they should sign in January. Please comment down below who you think your club should sign. And as always, leave a like and subscribe. Follow us on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And as we always say,
Tell a friend to tell a friend.
Peace.